on set. Places, everybody. And action.
It's time once again for the Hooked on Movies podcast. Today, we will be celebrating 25 years of the 1999 comedy release, Office Space. With me are Ken.
Hi, Eric. What's happening? We need to talk about your TPS reports.
And Ted.
PC load letter? What the fuck does that mean?
Hey, everybody. I'm Eric. I'd like to move us right along to a Ken Dobalakis. Now, we had a chance to meet this young man, and boy, that's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
What is it exactly that you do here?
Well, with one hand I do this, and with the other hand I do this. So there.
Ah, yes.
One hand. Yep. Exactly.
Cast.
Eric, you're only wearing the required amount of flair.
You're just going to quote every line in this movie the whole podcast, aren't you?
Do you not want to express yourself, Eric?
Yeah, all right.
I think, Ted, you've reached the maximum amount of flair at this particular point. So
pretty much.
Yes, I have.
You're flared out. Ken, what's going on?
I watched the Cobra Kai Part 2 of Season 6, which I thought was going to be the end of it all. But wait, there's more. There's a Part 3 now coming out in February. And I will tell you that if I wanted to watch Part 2 of Cobra Kai, I would have just watched Rocky 2 because it's basically some of the same shit on Rocky 2 that's in Cobra Kai 2. And spoiler alert, one of the kids die. How about that for a downer?
Is it a downer? Okay.
Yeah.
Hell,
so
dude.
Watched a little bit more of the show Chaos, but found out that it's being canceled. So I don't know how much more of it I will watch.
Thank you, Netflix.
Yes. I mean, Netflix keeps other crap on for like ages, and then you get a decent show, and it just
brings shit back that nobody wanted.
I'm a couple episodes away from finishing Murderers Only in the Building. Another episode of English Teacher. It's pretty good. Not me. You can go to Ted now and see what the heck he watched this week.
All right, Ted. What the heck did you watch this week?
I've started to rewatch, and I'm almost finished with Ken Burns' documentary, Country Music. It's one of my favorite Ken Burns documentaries.
Is that like 16 hours?
I don't know if it's 16 hours. It's 8 episodes long, about an hour each, so a little bit longer.
Does that come with the PBS pledge drive?
No, but it used to. I used to have it recorded from that. Now I subscribe to the PBS documentaries through Amazon Prime. It's like $6 a month, and you get all of the PBS documentaries and some of their shows.
Frontlines?
I don't think Frontline is, but it's like Finding Your Roots.
Where
that's on there.
People cry.
Roots is on there?
Finding Your Roots.
No, Finding Your Roots.
Where everyone cries.
Famous people go back and find out who they're related to.
Famous people go back in time and find out their family were slave traders, and everyone cries. It's usually how it ends.
That's what happened to Ben Affleck, and he had it edited out of the show. I adore all the Ken Burns stuff: Civil War, baseball, country music. The one that he did on the Dust Bowl is incredible. It's one of the best. And then he did another one on Prohibition, which is another amazing one as well. Everything that Ken Burns touches is amazing in my opinion, but that's just me because I'm a history fanatic.
Whereas Frank Burns ruined everything.
Montgomery Burns.
Well, hey, there's that.
There's 5 Degree Burns.
Frank Burns from MASH.
Yeah.
Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons.
So we also watched
George Burns.
You too.
Ed Kooky Burns.
We also watched Back to the Future with my oldest niece.
How old is she?
She is 12.
First time seeing it?
First time seeing it. The reason that we watched it, the 4 of us watched it, was because her dance troupe is performing an ensemble to the Back to the Future musical. And so we wanted to show her Back to the Future.
Cool. That would probably be helpful.
thoroughly enjoyed rewatching that again. And to get her take on it, it was pretty funny.
She's like, these special effects suck. All right.
No, it was, and I have not heard the musical or any of the music from it. My sister and the girl and my 2 nieces went down to St. Louis to the Fox Theater and actually saw the musical. And so I guess they do incorporate some of Huey Lewis and the News's music into the musical, which is kind of interesting. Don't know if I'll check it out or not.
They should incorporate Huey Lewis in the news. Their career isn't what
Actually, I
it used
think
to
they
be.
did. I think Huey Lewis is part
Singing?
of the he's part of the reason why the show went to Broadway.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And unfortunately, there is a trailer out there for a Back to the Future 4 that looks really real. And I'm kind of getting sick of all of this shit that these idiots are putting out on YouTube about these fake trailers.
Yeah, it's a real good trailer, but it's fake, yeah.
It is really good. Yeah, I hate it.
Because you're like, it really looks good.
It looks conceivable. I mean, it's amazing.
I'll have to check it out.
In good news, Ken will absolutely hate this, but I think it's awesome. Kevin Smith came out this past week.
Kevin Smith came out?
He came out. He
out
came
of
out
context.
he's
it.
Still happily married to Jennifer Schwalbach.
But is she happily married? That's the question.
Yes, she is. He came out at one of the comic conventions and said that he is working on Dogma 2.
If you check our Facebook page, it's already on there.
Boom.
Boom.
I saw it on our Facebook page. I read it before our Facebook page.
Sure, you did.
I did. And
Affleck and Damon a part of it?
Yeah, yes, they are. And
Nice.
the funny thing is,
didn't he blow up at the end?
They both died, but
that's what I thought.
he's going to get him back, and it's funny because he says the reason that he's going to get him back and the fact that they have to is because they didn't include him in their awards speeches for Good Will Hunting, because essentially Kevin Smith saved Good Will Hunting. Yeah,
he's going to save Kevin Smith these days.
They owe him. He says that they owe him for life.
He does need a movie.
Did he come out with a new movie, or is there a new movie coming out?
No, I believe it's out. I can't remember the name of it. What is it? Movies at 4 or something like that. It's essentially his story. It's his life story.
Is that out, or is it already out?
I think so. I think it was briefly out on video. I think it's a direct to streaming type of deal. But yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about a Dogma 2, and Dogma is a good movie. Do you really need to try to crap on that?
God, like those Jay and Silent Bob movies he made.
Yeah.
I'm game.
I mean, he's going to do Mallrats 2, and I know how you guys feel about Clerks 3.
Have you seen Clerks 3?
No, because you guys told me it was a piece of crap.
I have not seen it since I almost died, so no, I'm not going to probably... It'll be a while before I rewatch it because
it could be why you almost died.
No. Well, see the movie and you'll understand.
Don't see the movie.
It's problematic.
It's very diplomatic of you.
There are aspects of it that I really like, but there's aspects of it that I really, really don't like.
Sometimes, you can't ride the wave for 30 years.
True.
You make a great movie. The second one, not so great. But the third one, okay, come on, man. Just get some new material. You can't keep rehashing everything.
Is Mallrats 2 still on the docket?
I have not heard anything new about Mallrats 2. Well, you're not going to get Shannon Doherty.
No, that should be a hard get.
She would be a hard get.
So, Eric, what have you been up to this past week?
Well, not nearly as exciting as you guys. The only thing I've kind of put Sopranos on the back burner, not on purpose. I've just been.
How dare you?
I know. I've been
Tony's
focusing.
Gonna come after you. Tony's coming after you.
No. I've been focusing on work and going to the gym, listening to podcasts at the gym, and a few shows here and there. But Yellowstone, Me and the wife are hardcore into Yellowstone. So we're 3 episodes in the season 2.
Full movie. It's a wonderful show. And we did watch this week's past episode, and I'm excited.
Haven't seen any of it, man. This is all new to me, so no spoilers.
I won't
no
say
spoilers.
anything. We're
really enjoying
to see
it.
Where it goes.
So it's an interesting premise. I mean, it's like a Dallas, but much
except
more.
Better. Except better.
Yeah, no, considerably. It's Dallas with an R rating, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, but it has.
Taylor Sheridan is amazing.
Yeah,
as a writer.
Yes, it's a great show.
He was involved with Sons of Anarchy too, and Kurt Sutter was the head writer for and the creator of Sons of Anarchy. So there you can tell that that Taylor Sheridan picked up a lot from Kurt Sutter. Kurt Sutter has the stuff that he's done since Sons of Anarchy hasn't been really that good, but he's very prickly to work with. So.
Haven't seen Sons of Anarchy. Doesn't really look too appealing to me. So.
Oh, dude, it's
got to pick and choose, man.
It's really good.
I don't have time on my hands to watch thousands and thousands of stuff. I got to be choosy.
As the Rolling Stones sang, time
is not on my side.
Is on your side.
No,
yes,
sir.
It is.
No, sir. So, when was the first time you saw Office Space? And don't you dare say you saw it in the theater, because no one saw it in the theater.
I know somebody who did.
It was a bomb.
I know somebody who did.
Who?
And he's the other person of this podcast.
Ken? Ted states that you saw this in the theater. I don't believe it. I want to see a ticket stub. I want to see a stub.
I saw this in theater with a friend of mine, me and her, and some random guy in the theater.
As we all know, this movie did not do very well in its theatrical release.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Now it's a cult favorite. Cult classic.
Not sure why we picked this movie either, because this wasn't a movie that neither one of us was in office work at that particular time in our lives.
That's very funny you say that, because the first time I saw this movie was on video, rented it. And I said to myself, this is the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my life. It's not funny. I can't relate to it. Then I got an office job. And then I watched it probably about 2 or 3 years later. And I just said, this is the best movie, hands down. So I get exactly what you're saying there.
I think it's because the marketing wasn't good on this. I know Mike Judge was very highly critical of the marketing of this film. Even the poster wasn't very good. When it became on DVD rentals later on, he had a picture of Milton in the background peeking out to make it look a little bit more like a comedy. So.
Well, it was caught up in the Titanic craze. So... yeah, it just kind of got.
That's why I saw it, because I didn't want to go see Titanic.
Oh, yeah, that's probably right.
Actually, I saw Titanic in the theater. I just didn't want to go see it for the 500th time like some other people did. Jeez.
Yeah, like me.
I love Titanic. Sorry, man, I love it.
7 times.
I don't hate it. I just don't think it's the greatest movie to ever. That and Avatar. What the fuck is wrong with people that went to see Avatar all that many times and went to go see see Titanic that many times?
The people that I know that went and saw Avatar more than once were high as kites.
Oh my goodness, I hated that movie so much.
Anyway, I saw this movie for the first time. I didn't even know it existed until I got my job at the bank in like 2001, and I met a friend there at the bank that we worked together, and he was a big movie guy as I was, and he's like, you need to see Office Space. And so I watched Office Space. I loved it from the first time I saw it. But it wasn't until I got to the job that I had with Ken that I really understood why Office Space is so funny. And from that point on, this has been a staple for me.
I mean, it's starting to get a little dated now with, your big CRT monitors and floppy disks.
It's still awesome. Yeah, and this is a movie that Michelle and I would quote to each other on a weekly basis. So,
especially the TPS reports, right?
Of course, I'd ask her where her TPS reports were.
What qualifies you, Ken, to review this movie?
Well, I've basically been in office work for like the last 30 3 years, so I guess I have a good idea of this movie.
Ted?
I once banged Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, and then you woke up. For me, probably 3 years ago, it was during the pandemic. I actually took a bat to an old computer I had in the garage and beat the
Sweet.
hell out of it.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I did one time with my computer? I took the
When you were at band camp?
Yeah, I played this one time at
Remember in
band
band camp? No, I actually took the whole computer. I'm not talking about this. It was an
Handy?
it was a HP.
HP? Okay.
It was an
Pavilion?
HP, but it wasn't like a laptop. It was a desktop.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
And
I
I
did
took
too.
that desktop and I threw it up in the air to see
Oh.
if it would bounce off the concrete.
Did it
Did it
It
bounce?
bounced.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Tried
many
to plug it
times?
back in. Didn't do much after that.
No,
Nice.
probably not. It's probably bad for it.
No,
But that was back in the day of the Vista.
oh yeah, the Vista operating system.
Vista was horrible.
Vista was horrible.
Nothing will ever top Windows 98. Windows 98 still will remain as the ultimate.
I like XP. I really
Most
did
people
like
like
XP.
XP.
XP's okay. Yeah.
You had XP, you had ME, you had Vista,
Yeah.
7.
8, 9, 10.
Didn't they have like an 8.1 too? The one with the tiles. Wasn't that 8.1?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, I
8.1,
That was
yeah.
a disaster.
fucking hated
Yeah,
that
the little
They
interface.
did that because 8 was such a disaster itself.
Right.
And so,
Right.
Hated
yeah.
those interfaces.
I like 10 and
So-
11. I think 10 and 11 have been pretty solid.
Good
That's why
times.
I'm an Apple guy now.
Ah, he's an Apple man. Well, let's see. Where can everyone find us? Well, of course, we're
We're right
on
here.
Twitter. Yeah, we're on Twitter. X, hooked_on_movies. We're on Facebook. Ken's in charge of that. And as you saw in some of those articles, we talked about Dogma 2, Electric Boogaloo. So that's good to hear. And we
The Wrath
are on
of God.
the Wrath of God.
That'd
And
be awesome.
we are the Wrath of God. And we,
that
of
would
course,
be awesome
on
title.
the Dorkening Network. So check them out. They got some interesting stuff as well as us. We're the oddballs on that. And we have just been added to a site called Podbean. 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 You can find us on Podbean and other things as well. So we're expanding our outreach to the world wide web.
If you plant us, we will grow.
Yes. Or like William Shatner, I want to be a tree.
That was the
Like-
weirdest documentary I've ever seen.
I bought it on Blu-ray, so if you want to watch it again, I own it.
I don't
Make
know
it-
if I want to watch it
They were
again.
practically giving them away. So
Make like a tree and get out of here.
that's right.
Yeah.
We should make Ted watch that.
Shatner wanting to be a tree.
Shatner wanting to be a tree.
Well, that's kind of what Star Trek is.
Yeah,
Is a tree.
a
Just
tweet.
kind of sits there and pretends to be science fiction.
Or Star Wars that also
No.
does the same thing, but then
Star-
craps it on itself.
No, Star Wars is amazing.
Oh, Star
And-
Wars doesn't crap on itself, huh?
A bad Star Wars is still better than everything else.
Keep telling yourself that.
I will.
Because Disney
'Cause
Plus
it's-
doesn't believe that anymore.
Because it's the truth.
By the way, talking about Disney Plus and the Star Wars, how about them trying to redo the 3 movies that they said they fucked up in the first place? They're going to do 3 more Skywalker films.
Yeah,
To
no,
make up for
they're
it.
they're
make
doing
up.
it's with
Yeah.
it's about Rey, and she's going to try to reestablish the Jedi Order.
Yeah, because fucked up last 3.
No, they didn't.
Well, in your opinion, they did. So a lot of Star Wars fans, they did.
I believe we came out of The Force Awakens and you enjoyed it tremendously.
I did. I enjoyed The Force Awakens a lot. The Last Jedi, not so much.
Well,
And
that's a
Rise
bad
of
opinion.
Skywalker was just trying to make up for what The Last Jedi did, and the
Well,
fact
the
that Carrie
last
Fisher died.
Skywalker, this last Skywalker has problems, but the Last Jedi was amazing. So I
I mean,
like
they
it.
couldn't even get a second season out of their most recent Star Wars.
That's retarded because
It wasn't that
Oh.
bad.
it was awesome.
Is
That
Mandalorian
was pretty
still on?
It's going to be into a movie.
It's the finale is
Oh.
going to be in movie form.
Let's talk about the particulars of Office Space.
Okay, so PC load letter. What the fuck does that mean?
Damn, it's good to be a gangsta.
Oh, I love the soundtrack to this.
Needs
So-
more Michael Bolton.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So, Office Space is directed by Mike Judge with a screenplay by Mike Judge. It's based off of the graphic shorts Milton by Mike Judge. It has a running time of 89 minutes, a release date of February 19th, 1999. It had a budget of $10 million and a box office gross of $12.2 million.
It bombed.
Yeah.
But does that include DVD
No,
rentals and
absolutely
everything?
not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. But you're right. It bombed. It did.
Yes.
And all that money went to Jennifer Aniston, didn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score of a certified fresh 81%, which I was actually shocked by. But an audience score of a 93%.
Look at that.
So, yes. And it has an IMDb rating of 7.6, which is very good as well. Office Space stars Ron Livingston as Peter Gibbons, Jennifer Aniston as Joanna, Stephen Root as Milton Wadhams, Gary Cole as Bill Lumberg, John C. McGinley as Bob Slidell, and then Dave Herman as Michael Bolton, Ajay Naidu as Samir Naga.
Not going to work here anymore.
Not going to work here anymore.
That's right.
Diedrich Bader as Lawrence, Michael McShane as Dr. Swanson, Richard Reel as Tom Sminkowski, Alexandra Wentworth as Anne, Greg Pitts as Drew, Paul Wilson as Bob Porter, Todd Duffy as Brian, the annoying tchotchkes worker,
Yeah.
Orlando Jones as Steve, and, of course, Mike Judge as Stan, the manager of tchotchkes. And that's the particulars for Office Space.
All right. It's a pretty good cast if you think about it.
It is. It's awesome.
It is.
You have
All
Oliver
right.
Stone's favorite actor, John C. McGinley.
Yeah. It's time for Ken's Tidbits.
Ken's Tidbits.
So the film is loosely based on Mike Judge's animated shorts entitled Milton, which ran on Saturday Night Live and Liquid Television back in the early 90s. So as far as who are up for this role, so David Herman was the only actor Judge had in mind for a specific part, Michael Bolton, of course. Herman had been trying to leave the 7-year contract of Mad TV, but the show would not let him. So at his next table reading, he managed to get himself fired by screaming all his lines. Yeah.
Awesome.
The studio wanted Matt Damon as Peter, but Mike Judge felt that the role should not have a star, like a big star energy.
And Matt Damon said no effing way.
Matt Damon might have actually done it because he does have a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson auditioned for the roles of Lawrence, and Kate Hudson was considered to play Joanna.
I can see Vince Vaughn as like a Lundberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, though, now I can't see anybody but Gary Cole.
Oh, sure. Gary Cole's the best. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless they could figure out a way to get Dabney Coleman in it. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Dabney Coleman is the boss of any type of office setting. Come on.
Yes.
We're going to need you to come in on Saturday.
Now, Kate, I like the idea of Kate Hudson.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
And actually, I think I would have liked her more. That's just me.
Heresy.
Yeah, but you got to ride the Friends wave. She's top tier.
Heresy.
Yeah, because I think at this time, what was he? Kate Hudson.
Is this before Almost Famous?
No, this is after Almost Famous, I believe.
No, Almost Famous is 2001, I think.
Yeah. Was it 2001? So she would have been too young to play this. Because she was only 18 at the time that she did Almost Famous.
She was waitressing, so, I mean...
All the cast members were relatively unknown at the time, but 20th Century Fox agreed to produce the movie only if Mike Judge could cast one famous name. Jennifer Aniston was cast as Joanna and allowed Judge to cast each of the others less-known actors.
Ron Livingston was in Swingers.
Yeah, and then there's Orlando who?
Jones.
Yeah, but even though he was in Swingers, was he the top 3 billing on that?
No. But John C. McGinley was really famous.
And Stephen Root was doing TV shows. He was like News Radio.
News Radio,
Yeah, but he wasn't. Would you consider Stephen Root an A-list star, or Jennifer Aniston a
Oh,
A-list
well,
star?
Aniston's your A-list. She's A+.
A-list.
Yeah,
Plus.
that's what they're looking at. We're looking at A-listers.
So they just wanted
Oh, okay.
one A-list star and a bunch of C's and D's.
Yeah, I think that's basically it. They were
Like
just trying to
Harry
ride the wave of Friends, of course.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Aniston's middle name is actually Joanna. So,
Oh, that's cute.
when pitching the project, Mike Judge arranged a table read for the script for executives at 20th Century Fox and recruited several actors from the anime television series King of the Hill for the reading.
Yes.
Stephen Root had read several parts, including Milton, and Judge loved his take on the character and cast him to play Milton in the film.
I'll burn this podcast down.
Okay. That's all the tidbits I'm going to have for right now. There'll be more as we get into the movie, but that's what I got for now.
And the squirrels, they were married.
Okay. You guys ready for the setup? Peter Gibbons is a frustrated and unmotivated programmer who works for Initech. He is friends with coworker Samir not gonna work here anymore, who hates that no one can pronounce his last name, including me, and Michael Bolton, not the singer, who hates having the
You're
same name as the
goddamn right
famous
I do.
singer. That's right. Other
You must really
coworkers-
love his work.
Yeah, right. His whole catalog. Other co-workers are Milton Wadhams, a meek collator who mumbles to himself and is mostly ignored by the rest of the office. Tom Smokowski, a jaded product manager who is routinely scared of being fired. The staff suffers under top-heavy, callous management, especially from Vice President Bill Lumbergh, whom Peter hates and avoids confronting. As Lumbergh micromanages all his staff in a drab, monotone way, he repeatedly makes Milton move his desk and assigns him humiliating tasks while making Peter work almost every weekend. Got a bug problem down here. Peter's girlfriend persuades him to attend an occupational hypnotherapy session led by Dr. Swanson. Swanson hypnotizes Peter and tells him to feel relaxed and stop caring about his job until he snaps his fingers. However, Swanson suddenly dies of a heart attack before snapping Peter out of it.
I think she's cheating on me.
Yeah.
Get the same feeling.
Yeah. Peter sleeps soundly through the next day, ignoring phone calls from Lundberg and his girlfriend, who angrily breaks up with him while confirming his suspicions that she has been cheating on him. Wow, you guys are psychic. What do you guys think so far? I love it. I can barely read it without laughing. The opening scene is the best. He's driving in the car.
Exactly.
Switching lanes.
Who
We've
has
all
not
done
done
it.
that on the Kennedy? Who has
All
not done
done
that on
it.
the Kennedy?
I've never had the person in the walker pass me, but
right. But you felt like that there was a guy in a walker that passed you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've all done that. We've all lived in Chicago. We've all done this on the Kennedy.
I like how all three of them are different takes of what they would do when they're stuck in traffic.
Yes.
One is being aggressive and trying to get faster to work. The other one is singing hip hop songs,
right?
Yes.
While rolling up his window when he sees somebody about ready to get money from him.
He rolls it up because it's a black guy.
It's a black guy.
Yeah.
That's all. He's
It's a black guy. I think he's
panhandling.
Yeah.
But that's not
he's
why
not
he rolls
He's
it up.
selling fruit. Yeah.
But still, that's what he's rolling up his window.
He's rolling it up because it's a black guy. And
then he hits the lock button on his door. Too. Yeah.
As he's singing gangster rap.
And he's singing it like really slow.
And then he passes by and then he starts up. And then Samir
hates his life.
Yeah. But it's all three things that I think most of us do. I mean, I'm not saying that we're rolling up a window because a black gentleman's coming up, but I have rolled up my window when those people with the homeless sign are coming up, and I just slowly just kind of not make eye contact.
Well, yeah.
Some of them are actually just scam artists.
Sure.
That's their regular job. Some are legit, but then it's hard to know which ones are not.
What a way to scam a living.
I like it when he gets to the office.
He's like, I gotta get out of here.
But he's like, when he comes in and he's like afraid to pull the door because he knows he's going to get a shock.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where we worked, that happened to me all the time.
That's happened to me before.
You just
the time.
touch the doorknob and
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we just
Hated
had
it.
somebody waiting behind the door just to zap you. That's all.
Yeah,
Hated
right.
it.
9-volt battery hooked up. Get him.
But yeah, I love the fact, he gets in and he's immediately got to go over to Tchotchke's.
Well, you have
Can't
that one
handle it.
lady that's answering
Oh.
Yeah.
the calls in the same fashion.
Yes.
It's driving him nuts.
What did she say? Like,
Oh,
She's
just
like,
a minute. Just a moment.
Just a moment. Yeah.
just a moment. Just a
That
moment.
was one deleted scene that I wish they would have kept in, was of him going off on her.
Going
Yeah.
off on her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the TPS reports 2 people coming to his desk, and then he gets the phone call. He tells them, like, I got the memo right here, and it's like, I'll make sure you get another memo.
Right.
Did you get the memo?
The redundancy
Oh.
of upper management. I can.
All right.
It's funnier, though, when he goes to the restaurant and his best friends that worked
and
ask
they
him about
ask
the
him about
TPS
it, yeah.
reports.
Yes. Hey, man, what's this guy here about your TPS reports? Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you get the memo?
No,
This is the scene where Anderson has the meltdown with her boss, right?
No. That's later.
No, that's later.
later?
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much later on. It is the scene where he's like asking her about the flare.
Out the flare.
Yeah,
So-
Yes, he does ask her about the flare. Yeah.
15
You know who
pieces
else?
of flare.
You know who else wore pieces of flare?
The Nazis.
The Nazis
Yes.
made the Jews wear pieces of flare.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh every time. Oh my god.
And what is the other guy, the other host?
Oh yeah. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, and he's like, "Get some
Well, he's not the first one to
fajita
say it.
poppers," and he's just like,
Right,
"Ah!"
but jalapeno
You got
poppers.
the other lady that's
Says
in the
she
office.
says it too.
She says
Yeah.
it first. You know, I like how the lady comes over, and I don't know if she's bringing them checks or what she's bringing them, but she doesn't know their names.
No,
Like,
She acts
Michael
like she's
Bolton?
Bolton?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
is this your first day on the job?
I
mean, is this the first time you've done this?
See, it's all a play on inner office politics,
Right.
Where no one
Right.
knows anyone, everyone's detached. It just amps it up, just like exactly. She's like handing out
sounds like
checks. She doesn't
somebody's
know
got a
any of
case
these
the
people.
Mondays.
Oh, it's
Oh, my
great.
God.
Or Samir. Nobody can get his name right.
Or
even
Samir. It's not that hard. It's-
One of my favorite things is to watch the people when Lumberg's telling them when they have the office little powwow.
oh, when they have
If you
Hawaiian
wa-
shirt
if you-
day.
if you watch all of the people, you can identify people that you've worked with in an office because there's always the guy that's like holding his mug and shaking
Right.
his head and nodding his head in agreement, and then there's always two people that are always with each other.
The best scene is when they're singing "Happy Birthday" to him. It's like,
Yeah. And next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. Feel free to wear jeans and a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
the
But
joys
Tom
of working
Smik-
in an office.
Oh, God, yes. And, of course, we meet Tom Smikowski. He's always afraid that he's going to lose his job.
I don't
Yeah, so-
I don't know anyone like a Tom Smikowski who's always
That doesn't
afraid.
actually do something. Yeah.
Well,
he's...
Talk to the engineers. Yes,
Right.
No, but a guy who constantly is
constantly is
fear of
afraid of
Fear,
losing his
yeah.
job. He's like that overreactive, annoying person who just flips out about
Right.
anything.
Right.
We
I
gotta-
understand, though, with the consultants.
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
definitely.
when the consultants come, I understand him better at that point because their job is efficiency. How
Yep.
can we make things work better? Well, it's
And
usually
he
cuts.
doesn't do anything.
Yes.
And he knows,
he
he
knows
doesn't
it.
do anything.
So the customer, you actually take the items from the customer.
No, my
No,
secretary does.
secretary does.
It's
Well,
great.
Not exactly.
Exactly. What is it you do here?
What is it
Yes.
exactly that you do? Because John C. McGinley has such a distinct way he delivers the lines.
Yes.
And it's amazing. He has that
It's
same
the inflection.
delivery.
It's the inflection.
He has that same inflection delivery in Scrubs
Yeah.
and throughout his entire acting career.
Some would say he's
It-
been
he-
typecast.
I mean, even from, I believe his first role was Platoon. He plays Tom Berenger's lackey.
Basically
And-
agrees with everything Tom Berenger says.
Right.
And then,
And then he does the same thing in Wall Street, too.
yeah, I like him in other things. Like you talked about Scrubs. There was a movie called Article 99 that he's in that I
Mhm.
particularly like a lot. But yeah, his character is a little bit on the high strung.
The Bobs.
Bobs, yes.
I've got a meeting with the Bobs.
We're kind of
Bob,
getting a little
Bob.
bit ahead of ourselves on the
Yeah,
Bobs.
we-
but
We
We'll
are.
put
It's
that,
it's
yeah,
so
but-
easy in this movie. It really is.
I will say this about this movie. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Seinfeld. The characters are not likable. There's nothing to like about
That's true. I would
these
agree with
characters.
that.
They're complainers. They make observations about everything that's around them,
They're
but they don't do it.
pretentious. They care about themselves.
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Still works.
However, I like each of the characters for different reasons. And I think that's kind of a Seinfeld-esque type of a thing.
But would you be friends with any of these people besides
Peter.
Jennifer Aniston? Because we would
Peter,
be friends with her. regardless.
Jennifer, well, of course, with Jennifer Aniston,
But any other
Peter.
character,
I'd be friends with Peter.
I don't know. I don't know if I would be friends with Peter.
We worked with Peters before.
Yeah, are they on this
Yes.
podcast?
No, they're not.
Okay, exactly. I mean, you're not going to be
Because I
friends
like
with
them.
Milton. You're not going to be hanging out with
No,
Milton.
you're not going to be friends with Milton. It would be very difficult to be friends with Michael and Samir.
Samir seems to be an okay guy. The problem with Michael in this film is the fact that nothing can go right. Of course, it's funny to watch him go at it with the copier machine, fax machine.
He's like
it's
a
funny.
Debbie
PC
Downer.
low letter. PC
But
low letter.
every-
What the fuck does that mean?
But even outside of that, he doesn't really say anything that would make you like you. I mean, he even rips on. Yeah, I'm sorry,
He's kind of a weasel too,
yeah,
because when the Bobs are we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
yeah. We'll save it. But like he kind of goes off on Peter throughout the film, and he even
Little
gives
bit.
Peter a hard time about the TPS reports. And it's like, I mean, I don't know why you would want to bring Michael with you to Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes, yeah.
Tchotchkes.
But they all play poker together too, so there's that.
Yeah, we never see that though. But
No, we don't.
but I could
that's
hear
unfortunate.
I could hear Michael bitching all night about his hands and about the betting and anything. And then if he wasn't bitching about the poker game, he'd still be bitching about work.
Work,
That's
yes,
the kind of person Michael is. He's not somebody you would want around. No wonder Peter doesn't like his life. His friends suck.
Yeah.
The only
Well,
good friend
he
he has
suck.
is his next door neighbor.
And his girlfriend's
Hey,
cheating
Peter,
on him.
man.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, man, check out Channel 9.
Breast exams. Jeez.
Diedrich Bader is awesome.
Yes.
The friend that introduced me to the movie, the thing that would crack him up more than anything else is when he would come in and Peter would offer him the beer and then offer him the
Bottle
Opener.
opener.
I got it, man.
I gotta go, man.
that crack him up.
I didn't
all
even
the time.
recognize him because I knew him from the Drew
From
Carey show,
Drew
but I
Carey,
didn't recognize
the
him
Drew Carey show.
with the goatee on, and he kind of looked a
Mullet
little
and
buffer.
everything.
Yeah, and he kind of looked a little buffer. You know, I didn't recognize him at first.
Because he's working outside over the city.
I could see where if you've seen that in 1999, that might be the case, but I definitely knew who he was and when I saw the movie.
Drew
for the first time.
Carey show in '99 was a top show.
If you look at the Drew Carey show, the people that have come out of there, it's pretty amazing. Like, what's his face hosted the Late Late Show
Craig
with
Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah. Who will be in Joliet later on this year.
Yeah.
I would like to go
And-
see him. I
and
actually
Rialto.
enjoy his comedy.
Or wait,
And
it
of
might
course-
be in January.
And of course Ryan Stiles.
Oh, yeah.
For Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hot Shots Part 2,
Yeah.
2.5 Men.
And the girl who played Drew's kind of buddy, she's now in Shrinking.
She was also in Scrubs for a while.
Yes, she was. She was in Scrubs as well.
Yeah,
So-
and then
but
Cougar
yeah.
Town. It was a good
it
show.
was-
It's a shame that they can't
it was a
great show.
rebroadcast that.
It was a great show.
Why can't they rebroadcast
They do
it?
rebroadcast it.
The music. You'll never see the show in syndication. You'll never see the show on
It is in syndication.
DVD, Blu-ray. When have you seen it on syndication?
I see it every night. It's on channel 9.2 or 9.3.
Okay, so you're watching off of some type of antenna TV. I
Of
wonder
course
what
I'm watching
channel.
off an antenna.
I
Yes.
don't. I have.
It's
I haven't seen
over
it
the
on
air.
any of the
It's-
channels I have. So.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
play Drew Carey theme song. They play all the music.
Cleveland
There's
Rocks?
Cleveland Rocks.
Oh, wow.
Moon
yeah.
Over Parma from the original one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know
Yeah.
that's why they're having problems, but that you won't find it on sale.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's some old DVD copies you could probably still get, but you're not going to
That's-
find it on sale.
That's bullshit. Because you know what? Office Space reminds me a lot of the Drew Carey Show.
Yes, now that you say that, I would agree. It does.
And it because the way it makes me laugh and everything, and the interactions between everybody that works together like that, it really makes me, yeah, I can totally see the comparison there now.
Mimi would be a Milton.
Oh God, Mimi. Here's the thing, too, and I know that's one of my catchphrases, I guess. Here's the thing. Gary Cole as Lumbergh, his delivery is one of the things that makes this work.
It's the same delivery he had in the Brady Bunch movies, too. It's perfect.
Because it's so annoying, you want to hit him. I love Peter trying to leave. One of the lines that we didn't even say is when Peter asks Diedrich Bader's character, when you go to work on a Monday, does somebody say somebody's got a case of the Mondays? And Diedrich Bader looks at him and goes, No, man, I believe you get your ass kicked for saying something like that. That makes me laugh all the time, too. I love when Peter's trying to leave and everything has to load, and you talk. I know, Eric, you said sometimes it gets a little outdated.
Yeah, 90s technology,
and
right?
And it has to load through Windows 95,
Yeah.
and it's just going do. And
he's talking to Milton while it's happening, too. Yes.
Well, yeah, at the very beginning,
yes.
Because that's when Milton tells him about the squirrels and they were in love.
Yes, they were in love. And
I like how they do that because you listen to Milton first, and he's talking to somebody you don't know who he's talking to,
right?
And then
right.
You go over to the other side, and there he is trying to wrap everything up. You'd think he would know how fast it would take to close out his computer for the day.
You would think he should have started that shit at
noon.
4:30.
Noon or something like that. It's interesting that they have jobs where they could get there like an hour into their work, and like I already have to go next door and get a coffee. It's like, what kind of job to just let you just get up and leave right away?
Salaried employees, right?
I actually only do about 15 minutes of work.
Yeah.
In any given week.
In an entire given week.
Well, let's move on to the build.
All right. 2 business consultants are brought in to help the company downsize. Bob. And Peter begins dating Joanna. She works at a chain restaurant where she is required to wear pieces of flair. Her boss hassles her for not wearing more than the required minimum. Peter eventually shows up to work and casually disregards office protocol, stealing Lumbergh's parking space, violating the dress code, and removing a cubicle wall that blocks his view of the window. Impressed by Peter's frank insights into Initech's problems, the consultants promote him despite Lumbergh's misgivings. However, Michael and Samir are both laid off. Milton is also expected to be laid off, but has learned that it has already happened 5 years ago, and neither Milton nor the accounting department was notified due to a payroll glitch.
We fixed
the glitch. The accounting staff is told to stop Milton's salary payments without telling him. Milton is subjected to further mistreatment, including the confiscation of his beloved red stapler and the constant relocating of his desk, eventually down in the basement. Tired of being mistreated, Peter, Michael, and Samir decide to take revenge by infecting Initech's accounting system with a computer virus designed by Michael to divert huge numbers of fractions of pennies into a bank account. Peter successfully installs the virus, and on Michael and Samir's last day, he steals a frequently malfunctioning printer, which the three proceed to destroy in a field. At a weekend party, Peter hears rumors from a colleague that Joanna has slept with Lumbergh. When Joanna confirms this, a heated exchange leads to them breaking up. Frustrated with her job, Joanna quits in response to another lecture about her lack of flair. Ooh.
So quickly, we kind of skipped over a little bit about the hypnotherapist.
Oh my goodness! That's what this whole movie is based on.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
That's so when I'm talking to you today is the worst day of your life.
Yeah.
Yes, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
The guy who plays the doctor, he had some cameo roles on Seinfeld too,
and he was also Friar Tuck in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah,
that's where I remember him from. But yeah, that's pretty funny. And then Peter just sits there while he dies.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
With like a grin on his face.
Yeah.
And then the next day when he's just waking up,
The answer machine has 17 missed messages.
I like when she breaks up with him, it shakes the machine.
I'm cheating on you.
Yeah.
I love when he's going through and he's pressing the button and it's
like,
yeah. It's
9 o'clock.
That's actually sampled in the "Take This Job and Shove It" song that plays through the credits.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He doesn't want to go anymore, and he finally gets the courage to not only introduce himself to Joanna, but actually ask her out to lunch.
Yeah,
and
it's not courage. He doesn't have a care in the world.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. How freeing must that be to not have any
if it was anymore. Only that easy, right? If it was only that easy.
I mean, would you go in with the fish you just caught and gut it right there in the office?
Right, exactly.
Throw the guts on the TPS reports.
Exactly.
It's awesome. After he asked Joanna out and they realized that they both love Kung Fu, David Carradine's Kung Fu, that's when he goes back into the office and everybody kind of like
freaking
Michael
out.
Comes up and confronts him, and they tell him that
he's wearing what? He's wearing just like shorts and a shirt. Yeah.
Flip flops and jeans.
Yeah.
And comes in and because he wants his address book. Which,
right.
Oh, now you talk about dated. That's dated.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where Michael tells him he has a meeting with the Bobs.
Got to reschedule, man. Tell him you're sick.
You gotta reschedule, man. You're not on your game.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. John C. McGinley's reactions and the guy who plays the other Bob, their reactions to what Peter has to say make that entire scene. Because when Peter says something, John C. McGinley goes, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, let me catch up with you here. Because we only see like a little portion of it. But when they're done, the two Bobs are like in awe.
Yes.
They are in awe of Peter's honesty. They adore him. It's so hilarious.
What's great about that interview is it's set up with the two previous interviews.
Yes.
So the Michael Bolton's interview.
Right.
Yeah,
and Samir's. And Samir's terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where we said that Michael's kind of a snake.
Does Samir have an interview? I don't remember.
No, not Samir. Samir doesn't have an interview.
Oh, Tom Smikowski. Yes, where he freaks out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when he says he has people skills.
Right.
I got people skills.
What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with people?
What
Michael
is it
Bolton's
exactly?
The best.
Yes. You can call me Mike.
But you can come, and you knew right there.
He's
the
done.
Look on both of the Bob's faces. Yeah. He was going to be let go regardless of how he answered anything else. And he's like, well, yeah, I like Michael Bolton. And he had already called Michael Bolton a no-talent ass clown. He's trying to say whatever it takes to keep his job. And I'm sure that the Bobs encounter that all the time. People just trying to say whatever they want. And here comes Peter, and he just basically tells them the truth. I have 8 different bosses.
Let's talk about TPS reports. Yeah. But why didn't you think that Peter could have easily just saved their jobs? I mean, they were in love with him so much. He could have just said, is it possible that I can keep those two? I can work with those guys.
Yeah,
I think they would have said yes.
Yeah, they probably would have. But then one of the things that we see what Peter's doing while he's not at work, and damn, it feels good to be a gangster's playing through that whole sequence. It's so cool. Like Ken said, he brings in the fish and he puts the fish on the TPS reports.
Just breathes. He's like, oh.
And he takes
guts it, man. He guts it.
But then he takes the drill and he takes apart his cube and just pushes it over so he can see the outside.
And just leaves it on the floor. Just leaves it on the floor with everything.
While playing Tetris.
Yes, while playing Tetris.
and eating
I'm a little
Cheetos.
busy right now. Yeah.
Not now, Lumberg. I got a meeting with the Bobs in 5 minutes.
Well, he takes off the doorknob. The security guard is right there. He walks in, the security guard's there, and the guy who's on the ladder is there, and he takes the drill and undoes it. I'm thinking
does.
that security guard does really not care one little bit.
Yeah,
what
well, no,
happens there.
yeah. Is it a security guard or is it the front
it's
receptionist?
There's two people there. There's a receptionist
Okay.
and a security guard who's
Gotcha.
sitting right there.
Yeah. How many times did I sit in my cubicle and just wish that I could do that? As Peter gets up to walk away to go to his meeting with the Bobs, Lumberg's reaction, he goes, "Yeah, we'll get this all cleaned up here for you."
Yeah. We'll take
Yeah.
care of that, Peter.
I've been in a cubicle. I have been in high cubicles, which are bigger than those. That are they're like 8 feet high.
Yes, I
And
remember.
you cannot see anybody once you're in your little cubicle. I remember reading an article of a Wells Fargo employee passing away and not anybody noticing for 3 days. She probably had
that.
one of those cubicles.
Yes,
probably.
one of the 8, one of the ones like exactly. Oh
Because
my
nobody,
God.
unless they went back to wherever that person was at, wouldn't even know.
That's teamwork.
And then we're introduced to probably the most annoying character, which is, I guess you'd call him he's the gossip teller of everything. And that's when we find out about Tom Smikowski. He gets hit by a drunk driver after trying to commit suicide. And they find out that he's going to have a barbecue.
I love his lawyer.
Or when he's talking about the prison and conjugal visits.
Yeah.
What you need to do is, become somebody's bitch or beat somebody up on the first day that you're there.
That employee, we only see him in 2 scenes. We see him where he tells him about Tom Smikowski, and then we see him again where he tells Peter about Joanna. Make sure you wear a rubber, bro.
Around like a record.
He's going to take the new chick from accounting, and if she's lucky, he's going to show her his O face. Oh my God, it's so funny. He's so annoying, but he's so hilarious.
Has he done anything? Actor?
I don't
Is that
think
it?
So. He's the O face guy.
Yes,
I mean,
he is.
Well, you got a lot of annoying characters in here. I mean, Milton's very annoying. I mean,
I feel bad for Milton.
I
Poor
don't
Milton.
to a certain extent because
We fixed the glitch.
yeah, but
So they didn't even fire him
Milton's not a
properly.
very likable character. You just said you wouldn't want to hang out with him. Milton's not nice to anybody.
No, and nobody's nice to him.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They don't let him have any cake. I
That's
didn't
true.
get a
It's
piece
the
of cake.
lad. He
I didn't
keeps
get a piece of
passing it
cake.
down.
Pass off the goddamn cake.
So I don't feel bad for Milton really at all.
Sad.
You know,
I feel bad for Milton.
It's
Poor Milton.
because I don't even know what he even does, and if he does a good
He
job,
collates.
I don't even know what that means.
Hey man, he
I don't
got
know either.
$300,000. He found the
Yes, he
money.
did.
I mean, at the end of the day, it works out for him. But he was fired 5 years ago. He's lucky to have a paycheck for 5 years in a row.
Exactly.
But people forgot to tell him that he was fired. That he was let go.
Well, it tells me
He's
that 5
laid
years
off.
ago he still couldn't do the job that he was supposed to do.
Or his job became obsolete. I'm assuming his job became obsolete with computers.
The advent of the computer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what happened. And he was like, "Oh, when his job
Isn't collating just separating documents?
I don't know, or it's
Yeah.
adding. I don't know. I have no idea,
Yeah.
and I didn't bother to look it up.
Just to let you know, Greg Pitts, the guy, the O-face guy,
True.
not a lot of
Oh.
stuff. Here and there stuff.
Oh,
A
Big one died
lot of
TV work.
television.
Yeah.
TV, one
probably.
episode's off. He even was recently in a episode of Young Sheldon last year.
Oh.
really? That's interesting.
So enough to pay the bills.
To keep his
Last
SAG
movie
card.
he did,
Yeah,
he's
the
done one
SAG
movie
card.
in the last 10 years, and that was the movie called The Throwback.
I don't never even heard of that.
Exactly. So, and you also then have the waiter at the restaurant.
Oh
that's your
God,
other
yes,
annoying guy.
yes,
The Flair guy.
the Flair, yeah.
What's the Flair guy done?
Well, then Mike Judge plays the
He's Stan,
With the weird mustache.
Mustache.
Joanna's
Yeah.
boss. Yeah.
very unrecognizable with the mustache.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Yes,
he's-
he is. It's
Probably
great.
done on purpose.
But Mike Judge has that. He has that face that he can blend in to any role. He's really good that way. There's so much here that's so funny. I mean, because Peter then he finds out that Samir and Michael are going to be fired, and that's where we get the famous Samir Naga not going to work here anymore.
I mean, we can't pronounce his name.
No.
None of us can on this
And
podcast.
Nanina Najad. I believe.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
You're the pronunciator here.
But it's much more fun to say the line, as with most everything in this movie. Peter's not going to get fired. He's getting promoted, and he's the one trying to bring this little conspiracy together where they're going to try to rob Initech, and
by a fraction of a penny at a time.
Because it's like Superman 3, and which is
and
the
they also
worst.
did it in the 1970s as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
they all
Superman
got caught
3.
and they went to prison. It's hilarious. And of course, then you have when Samir gets brought in, and I guess Samir was an actual break dancer. So when they're doing the dance, Ron Livingston is doing the biggest white man dance ever in that scene, and it's hilarious. But Samir actually, I guess AJ was
a hip-hop artist.
Yeah, he was a hip-hop artist, and he was a breakdancer, which is kind of cool.
I guess that's just a really quick...
It's fun. I mean,
I guess it's fun. I would have liked to have, when they were doing all the Cloak and Dagger stuff, to kind of show that he messed up and moved the decimal place.
Well, he had already written the code, so we would have had to have went back in time because he already wrote the code.
So he knew in advance that this was going to happen. I mean,
no, because he screws up on the mundane details.
Well, I would think if you wrote the code that you would have to double check it before you did something like this, but yeah.
I don't think he ever thought he was ever going to use it. What I'm thinking happened is Michael watched Superman 3 and then wrote the code himself because he's a coder, and then he misplaced the decimal point. But it's also funny to listen to Peter describe what's going on. The three of them depart from each other, swearing that none of them are going to tell anybody else. And the first thing that Peter does is tell Joanna, and because she thinks that they're stealing, which
money
they
from
are.
The cripple kids?
right.
Well, she doesn't even ask him. It's like he's dying to tell her.
He just gives up the entire thing.
Because he's the mastermind. Mastermind always wants to kind of tell somebody.
He's proud. He's very proud of himself. Yeah, and
then he goes to the ATM.
Yeah, he does. Oh God!
I like it when they all come back and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, and they're fucked. But then the neighbor, he's like, asked the neighbor if he wants to come over. He goes, "No, I don't want you to fuck up my life."
My life. And
he had some of the best lines. He's like, "Watch your cornhole."
But that comes up in a little bit. But we meet Steve because they're trying to figure out how to launder money. And Steve comes up
pretending to be a drug addict.
My name is Steve. I wasn't addicted to crack cocaine.
And he works as a competitor, didn't he? He worked at
he worked at
Inaprobe or something, yeah.
But he's making more money selling subscriptions.
Yeah, right. I make more.
Anyway, he gets 40 subscriptions out of Peter?
40 subscriptions to Vibe.
What am I going to do with 40 subscriptions?
Oh, what am I going to do with 40 subscriptions to Vibe?
You think you could buy a bunch of different subscriptions to different magazines? Because I'm sure he's not selling just one magazine.
I think Steve did that to him just to embarrass him.
We have the famous scene of taking something from the office and taking it out to the field.
Die, motherfucker, die. The Ghetto
Funny
Boys.
thing is, Peter doesn't partake in the destroying of the machine. He gives it to Samir first.
Yes.
And then Samir gives it to Michael, and Michael goes total ape shit on him.
Yes.
He gives it to Michael first because he knows Michael hates it the most. And then the best is when Samir gets the bat and Michael's he's stepping forward and Samir just puts the bat up against him and pushes Michael back, and then he goes to town on it too. That's hilarious.
Well, Michael starts punching it with his bare fist.
No, Michael hates that printer fax machine or whatever it is with an unholy passion. The first time we meet Michael, he's arguing with that machine. It won't take what he's trying to put in it.
We've always had problems with some type of fax machine, printer,
course.
Paper jams and stuff like that. And there's no paper jam.
Hey, right, that's Samir's.
Yeah.
There's no paper jam. It's hilarious.
You lift it up and you don't see a paper jam, but the paper is stuck in anyways, and you try to pull it out and it rips. and it rips whatever paper you had there to begin with. So
I had such a hate relationship with one of the copiers where we used to work. Oh my god.
So only thing that doesn't work for me in this whole movie is the relationship. First of all, it's Jennifer Aniston. She's a little too
Kung
hot.
Fu. It's Kung Fu.
I understand, but we only get to see them watch Kung Fu for like 5 seconds.
I know.
Outside of that, I don't see any real chemistry between the two.
We get to see her in just a shirt. That's enough.
I mean, if you didn't have the Jennifer Aniston character in here, I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, come on now. She's funny. I like her.
I mean,
I like her character.
The only time I really like her
confidence, personally.
Yeah, I think the
confidence
because he's making her laugh at the beginning with telling her, "No, I'm just not going to go back to work." So you're going to quit? No, I'm just not going to go back.
Just not going to go.
The only time I actually like her is when she goes off on the flare.
Yes.
You want me to express myself? I can express myself. That's the only time I really like her character. All the other times, it's just I don't know. She's just kind of there.
Well, Lumberg fought her.
That excuse for why they're fighting. I mean, he didn't realize that there was another one.
He's so mad, he forgets. He's so infuriated by the thought of Bill being the one who.
This scene where he's like screwing her and the legs are up.
Yes,
he's like,
yes.
He's got the coffee mug in there.
Yes,
oh, it's beautiful.
Yes. It's so hilarious.
Oh my
God.
It's just
it's so funny. We've all had that crush on a woman. And then when somebody like Drew comes along and pops your bubble, he goes, make sure you wear a rubber, bro. And you can see it's right at that point that
he's like, why, Drew? He doesn't know.
Right. The bubble was burst. And it completely burst his bubble. Burst. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it's kind of like? When Ben Affleck's character realizes that his girlfriend in Chasing Amy has actually been with another guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's exactly like that. He's kind of despondent because the illusion has been burst for him. And then he gets so mad because he just completely forgets that there was another Lumberg that was in the office. Oh, and it's like the thought of Bill being someone who was there before him was just intolerable. It makes total sense as to why they're fighting.
Weird thing about Bill, of course, is he keeps his even keel throughout the whole movie, even when his Porsche is towed away. But they had a scene of him getting mad, and Gary Cole was very happy that they didn't keep it in the movie.
Oh yeah, I'm really glad that they didn't, because his even keeled demeanor is what makes him so totally
under every circumstance. It's the same thing.
He's completely unlikable.
Especially when he's with the Bobs and they're talking about Peter and he's disagreeing with Peter, but he's in that same voice.
Yeah. But the only time you see any sort of other reaction from him is when the Bobs turn the tables on him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then all the TPS reports.
Yes.
What do you do
and
there,
then all
Bill?
of a sudden he realizes he's under the gun too.
But at the same time, he doesn't react much different than what his character's been doing the whole time frame.
But it's so the reason that it's so great is because it's the only time we see him with a different reaction.
Well, he actually still goes, yeah. I mean, he still has that same.
He still does, but the look on his face is different when he says it, and it's.
Well, he's got the same kind of look of when Peter kind of just totally ignores him.
And when he walks around him, as the gangster songs playing, and Peter he's walking down the hall and he just goes right around him. That's hilarious too.
Or when he leaves him to go meet with the Bobs, and he just like, we'll get this cleaned up for you. So
we'll get this all cleaned up for you. And he's under stress because he realizes now that he's stealing from the company. and because
Gonna go to
Joanna
jail.
pointed it out to him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's a chance that they go to jail, and of course the lawyer pointed out to Samir and Michael that
White collar jail. No.
White collar, no. Minimum security is no joke,
I got a client in there right now.
right?
The PC load letter scene was actually ad-libbed because actually
That's awesome.
David and Ron Livingston were doing a scene, and they had actual verbiage going on, and the machine went off and had this error come up, and so that's when he
That's
goes up and
awesome.
he says that.
Beautiful.
It's not in the script. It showed up on the machine, and he decided to react to it.
That is amazing. Kudos to David Herman. He's really funny.
He's really fun. Well, look at where he came from, Mad TV.
Mad TV,
he is used to thinking probably off his feet because he does sketch comedy, so he knows how to just do that type of stuff.
Yeah, and that's where Orlando Jones came from, and this is way before Orlando Jones became famous.
I don't know if I would say famous. I mean, it's probably how Eric would say famous.
He's doing 7-Up commercials, wasn't he?
He did do 7-Up, but
he was
also
like the third, fourth-rate actor in movies like The Replacements. I remember a movie called Double Take. Wasn't a bad movie.
Is Jean-Claude Van Damme
No,
Dennis
that's
Rodman
Double
movie?
Team.
Oh,
Double Team.
Yeah,
yeah.
Double
That's
Take
also
is
a
him
porn.
with what's his name? Eddie. He was in like Deuce Bigelow and
Yeah, I
anyway.
never saw it because I hate Schneider.
He's okay, I guess. But anyway,
He's completely unfunny. He was not funny on Saturday Night Live.
I like some of the stuff on this, right? But the one thing we haven't talked yet really in length here is the red stapler.
The infamous red stapler.
You stole my stapler. Swingline never made a red stapler. The amount of customer service calls they got for people wanting to order a red stapler, they now make red staplers, and it's their best-selling stapler.
Thank you, Office Space.
Yes,
you get a cut of the royalties on that.
But Stephen Root stole one of the extra staplers.
Yes, he did,
and he actually still has it because they only made 6 of them for the movie.
Oh, a movie prop.
Yep, and Stephen Root said that he only took the Milton character if he could add that the squirrels were in love. If he could ad-lib that
and they were in love. It's been a long time since I've laughed hard watching a movie.
Let's not forget that the first time the word ass clown
was
used in this movie. And it actually became an official entry in Webster's Dictionary in 2018.
Ass clown?
That's awesome.
And they actually credit writer Mike Judge for first using it in Office Space.
That is so
So what is the Webster's definition of ass clown?
That's a good question.
Yes,
I don't have a dictionary for it.
What kind of dorks are we? We're looking up ass clown in the dictionary.
Oh, yeah. Money laundering.
Money laundering, too.
Yeah.
What kind of dorks are we? We're looking up money laundering in the dictionary.
I don't know if money laundering is going to help you in this situation.
Nah, not in this situation. It's not going to help at all.
So all that money came into your bank account.
My cousin's a cokehead.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And then poor Steve.
Poor Steve. Yes.
They kind of kidnap him. Let's get to let's pull up the end, I guess, unfortunately.
We all know it's going to stick the landings. We've kind of alluded to this, but on Monday, Peter discovers that a bug in Michael's code has caused the virus to steal over $300,000 across the weekend, which guarantees they'll be caught. Unable to conceal the crime, Peter decides to accept full responsibility, writing a confession and slipping it under Lumbergh's office door after hours, along with traveler's checks for the stolen money.
Another sign that this is a little outdated.
Right. Peter learns that Lumbergh, with whom Joanna slept, was Ron Lumbergh out of Atlanta, another software engineer unrelated to Bill Lumbergh. He meets Joanna, who has started a new job at another restaurant. He apologizes,
Flingers,
and
where
they
went to
reconcile.
lunch.
Huh?
She works at Flingers, where they went to lunch.
Yes, the competitor. Flingers. The next morning, Peter drives to Initech expecting to be arrested, but discovers that Milton has burned down the building out of revenge for his mistreatment, destroying all evidence. Peter enjoys a new job as a construction worker with his neighbor Lawrence, while Samir and Michael begin new jobs at Initech's rival Initrode. And Milton, having found the traveler's checks, goes on vacation to Mexico, where he still does not get the respect he needs.
I ordered a Mai Tai, and there was salt on the margarita.
What do they call it? Initrode? Penetrode. That's right.
Yeah,
hey, how are things over at Penetrode?
So this is funny, and you have to catch it, and I'm sure both of you did.
Try us.
That's really funny. Is Peter puts the envelope under the door, and immediately has second thoughts and tries to get it.
Yes.
And doesn't try the door, but when Milton comes in to go back and get his stapler, he just opens the door.
I did see that. Yes. And finds it. Yeah.
Oh, God, that's funny. That makes me laugh.
He just assumed it was locked, right?
Right. He just assumed it was locked.
Yeah.
Isn't Peter really the only one that could possibly get in trouble for this? Because it's his computer that is used to put everything into motion. How would they pin this on Michael or Samir?
They're probably afraid he'd squeal. He'd rat him out.
Well, that and Samir is the one who knows the computer coding for the credit union software.
Well, it's got to be more than Samir. There's got to be more than one person that knows it.
They're going to connect it. They're at least going to get it to Samir, and Samir is going to turn on Michael. So it's,
then at the end there, he takes the blame for it himself and doesn't. He says that he did it all.
Peter does, I guess, what you would consider the honorable thing, and he's going to fall on the sword for everybody, and that's where.
Couldn't Peter just if Peter was doing this by himself, couldn't Peter just gone to Samir and say, "Can I have the code?"
Well, Michael wrote the code.
Well, yeah, but doesn't Samir have the security?
He knows how to get into the credit union software. Yeah, he could have done it. Conceivably, he could have done it by himself.
Inconceivable.
But Samir and Michael are already fired though too.
That's true.
But they would have. They still would have been brought up on criminal charges, though, I guess. But it's funny when Blumberg finds out about the massive theft. Is he's in the basement telling poor Milton that he wants him to get a can of
pesticide or something
spray.
Like that.
Yeah, he wants him to get a can of bug spray and solve the cockroach problem. Poor Milton. I'm going to burn the
well, that's down. When you really don't like, in my opinion, Blumberg. You don't like him throughout the movie,
he's
but
a dick.
Here, he already knows that this guy got fired. He knows he's not going to get paid.
And he's still doing
it to him.
Of course.
Yeah, and I hate him when he steals the stapler. Because he does it in such a dick way. He's just a dick about stealing the stapler from.
The stapler is a dick move, but at the same time, the stapler probably belongs to the company, and it doesn't really probably belong to Milton. So he was just exercising his dominance as his boss. But at that particular point, he's not his boss anymore.
Right, because we fixed the glitch. Because Milton looks around the cubicle and sees him talking, and he knows that they're talking about him.
And then when he stops getting his paycheck, they keep pawning him off on payroll,
playing tennis back and forth with him. Yeah, poor Milton.
Poor Milton.
And that's where Blumberg finds out that there's been a massive theft from.
Yeah, from the computer accounting. Yeah, but the Bobs are the ones that are kind of the dicks that start everything off because they're like, we like you said, we fixed the glitch, they're not going to. They say it's just going to work itself out.
It's just going to work itself out. He'll stop coming to work if he doesn't.
That's what they think,
but he didn't.
He doesn't.
And instead of tying him, he just continues to just put him into difficult situations. Maybe just to force him to quit. But
we found out that. When you fire somebody on a Friday, there's a lot less chance of violence.
But they're not firing him on any day. They're just letting him go.
I'm giving you the line that they.
I know. Yeah, that they. You want to squeeze in that line? I understand.
Of course.
And of course, Peter puts it all together that he burned everything down because
of course
he hears
sees this
Milton talking all the time.
Right. I'll burn the building down. Yeah, I mean, and of course Milton burns the building down.
Why wouldn't he?
Should. Exactly. He's got nothing to lose. He's got $300,000.
Well, that's the best way to get rid of the evidence too. Not...
Yeah, well, that's why Samir, Michael, and Peter are in the clear.
Yeah,
yeah, because all the evidence is
because he put a little note in there too.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, so of course, Milton reads the note and he knows. He's like
Milton threw the most likely threw the letter away.
I used the letter as part of the fire.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, most likely. Yeah, because down in the basement, he's surrounded by nothing but paper.
Do you think, though, this is the end of Enotech? Because you would think they would have massive insurance.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
that would cover this fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they'll rebuild.
But the $300,000, though. But that's the thing. Okay, he gave the money back, right? I get that. But the money still transferred into his account. So you're saying that all the payroll, everything, magically, because it's year 2K, right?
Well, no. What'll happen is they're going to be dealing with the fire. So the $300,000 is pennies now to them, because $300,000 is no doubt way underneath the amount of insurance that they carry. They'll get that money back from the insurance company when they file a claim.
Here's a little tip for all you little leaguers out there. If you're going to commit embezzlement, make sure you burn the building down too.
Right. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is most likely the servers are in a different site. Even in 1999, you're not going to keep everything in the same building.
Server? Would they
I would say even in 1999, you're not going to have everything under the same roof. Your backups are going to be in a different building.
It is a credit union, so there's more than one. I mean, they have branches. I mean, they have an ATM. So, I mean,
so this the evidence doesn't get burned up in this building. It's going to be somewhere else.
Yeah, but people aren't going to be looking for it.
I don't know.
Because the people who would be the ones to look for it have much bigger fish to fry now with the building burning down and everything.
Well, it's a question
like
that they got to keep their jobs. Maybe they get laid off, get some type of severance because of it, and then it doesn't become a thing.
Right.
But I would think if you were in that position, you're brought back, the last thing you remember before everything got burned down was that you had a missing amount of money.
Because remember, one of the HR, one of the guys comes to Bill and says, "Hey, Bill, we have a major problem."
Yeah, it's one of Peter's other bosses.
Yeah.
And one of the other TPS report guys from the beginning of the movie. I think what Ken said probably is most likely is the people that were in that building are going to get laid off. And they didn't have a chance to file a police report. Or a company like that, a credit union, probably wouldn't even file a police report because they don't want the publicity. At this time,
credit union didn't do anything wrong.
But they still don't want to have to tell the public that they encountered a loss of that amount, because that's why banks won't give the amount of money that was stolen in a bank robbery. They don't want the publicity of how much money was stolen.
Too.
Exactly. So they're insured out the ass.
$250,000 per account.
That's why when I worked at the bank, they told us if somebody comes and robs you, you give them the money because your life is worth more and we're insured. And that's what Michael, Peter, and Samir were banking on, was that the amount would be small enough over a course of time,
right,
that it would just be written off.
Fractions of a cent. They wouldn't even notice it.
It would be just written off. And any loss that they figured out that they incurred, a company that big, it's an adding error. Essentially, it's a mathematical error.
Well, they can try it at Penetrobe later.
Right, in a trope. But yeah, so we see Peter, and Peter gets back with Joanna because he realizes it's a different Lumbergh.
And she takes him back, and the world is great again.
Of course. And then, of course, we get to see the Tchotchkes guy one last time, and he...
I know, he's
Get a room. Get a room, you two.
I almost wish Peter would have just punched him out.
Just like, I hate that guy.
Yeah. Me too.
Right. Everybody says that to the... Yeah, me too. He's working with his neighbor. It's awesome. So their company that he's working for is the one that has to do deconstruction,
right,
for
tear it
Heart
down.
attack.
He's like, hey,
The
look, the
Intertech
red
building.
stapler. I know someone
Right.
like this.
Wasn't Milton into his office just to grab the stapler in the first place?
Yes. And he
doesn't
found the money.
And he found the money and doesn't
Yeah.
get the stapler. I would think if he was obsessed with the stapler, he would have taken it at that time too.
Well, when you find $300,000, I think at that point the stapler is no longer.
Here's one question for you. If there are a series of traveler's checks made out, they're not made out to cash. They're not made out to Milton.
Here's the thing, because God, this is going to date. We sold traveler's
Back
checks
in
at the
my
bank that I
day.
worked. We sold traveler's checks, and we always made sure to tell people, do not ever sign them, and always make sure you fill out the pay to the order of, because otherwise somebody can just cash them. So what I have a feeling happened was Peter signed them and then didn't put anything in the to line, so Milton could have made them out to cash.
Well, he had to then.
Yes.
Or made him out to himself.
Well, I think about like traveler's checks. I think of the movie Vacation. I think it's time for our final reviews.
Oh, my goodness. Let's do it. You kick us off, Ken.
I like this movie. When I first saw it, I didn't like it as much because I couldn't relate. There were some things I thought were funny. You know, Michael Bolton being upset by being compared to the other Michael Bolton.
No talent ass clown.
That no talent ass clown started
Right.
getting number one.
Those Fletchbackers made me admit that I like Michael Bolton. I
Yeah.
liked his music. But as the years have gone by and I've watched it and I've experienced more office settings, I've come to appreciate it. I don't think it's a perfect movie. It's got some great lines and the acting is great. I'm not a big fan of the romance. It really doesn't bring anything extra to the film. It probably is needed because you need some type of like side story to keep this going. What I like most about this movie is it's under an hour and a half. So the speed of it is really good. The pace of it, very good. It allows me to get through it really quickly. And I think if they went any further, I think it would have started to struggle. There are a number of things here that I've experienced in the office myself. And there's some other things that I'm like, I've never experienced that, but it's still funny. So I'm going to get to the point here. I'm going to give it 4 hooks. It is a movie that I will watch again. It's been a while since I actually watched it here, but it's something that in the future I would be surprised if I saw, especially if it came up randomly on some type of regular channel.
Yeah, I agree with Ken. I really can't dispute anything he says. I think Jennifer Aniston's, if she wasn't in this movie, it probably wouldn't have even made its budget. I think because no one would that extra $2 million helped bring people in to make a little bit of profit on it. But I love this movie. I watch this movie every year. It's just, even though it's 25 years old, I can't believe it's 25 years old. It's still funny. Even with the antiquated computer equipment and stuff, it's still just lines that we quote and we quote and we quote. This is a top tier movie for me. I'm giving it 4.5 hooks. Boom. You just want to give it 5 now, Ted, or do you want to go over your review?
I mean, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
This is one of my favorite movies.
No kidding. Really?
If I watched this with a group of people, I'd probably be the most annoying person to ever watch this movie with.
Or do a podcast with.
I know, I pretty much know the entire script by heart.
Really?
No,
I know.
Because the lines are so funny. This is a movie that I quote all the time, even to the both of you randomly. I'll throw out a quote from this movie. I like the fact that it's a cult favorite. I'm glad that it didn't tear up everything. It's because it's like you're part of a little group of people that understand. You feel like a part of a group that way. I absolutely adore this movie. I love Ron Livingston is awesome as Peter. I have watched so many Ron Livingston movies because he was Peter. The craziest thing that I watched with him in it is he's the dad in The Conjuring.
And anytime I meet someone named Peter, I always go, "Hey, Peter, what's happening?"
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter, man.
Yeah, I don't do Peter, man.
You
I
have
do,
to.
But I yeah,
Have
and
to.
half the time, like, what? So
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter, man. If you've ever worked in an office, you can identify with this movie.
Clearly.
If you can't, I don't know what office you've worked in. It's so relatable, and the characters, to me, I know Ken's like, some of them are not likable, but I like each character for a different reason. I just think that they're all funny, and I love the soundtrack to this movie. I think the soundtrack to this movie is hilarious. I'll just randomly pull out, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. And I like the credits, where they play Take This Job and Shove It. But it's a rap version of Take This Job and Shove It. I think it's hilarious with bits of the movie sampled into it. It's great. And I like the jokes that they do through the first part of the credits when they're introducing the characters, because they all have something different that they didn't say in the movie. I think that's funny too.
So 5 hooks?
But of course it's 5 hooks. This is a top 5 or 6 comedy movie for me. It's not The Hangover, but it's close. And The Hangover is the hardest I've ever laughed in the movie theater. The Office Space is a top 5 or 6 comedy movie for me. And so, yeah, it's definitely 5 hooks.
Cool. Well, that's all the time we have for the Hooked on Movies podcast. And gentlemen, I got one question for you. Do you know what that is? No?
Who are you going to call?
No. Close. Close. Does Barry Manilow know you rate his wardrobe?
See you at the movies.
See you next time on Hooked on Movies.